"You don't belong here," he whispered to me at my wife's corporate party. 3 words that destroyed my world. But Wade Morrison didn't know who he contacted. "I'm Rick Miller, and I don't give up without a fight. My revenge will be cold, legal, and unforgettable. Ready to know how I got my life back?" "You don't belong here," he whispered, his breath hot with whiskey and arrogance. Those 3 words hit me like a blade, slicing through the hum of my wife's company party. "I'm Rick Miller, 38, a Seattle consultant who turned startup dreams into reality. My wife, Scarlett, thrives in her marketing role at a top PR firm. Our 6-year-old son, Aiden, is our world." Or so I thought. That night, one smug remark from Wade Morrison, Scarlett's colleague, sparked a war I didn't see coming. The party pulsed at the Apex Hotel, a sleek downtown venue where Scarlett's firm, Baxter & Reed, celebrated a record year. I stood by the bar, sipping club soda, watching Scarlett glide through the crowd. She was a natural, charming client, laughing with executives, her confidence magnetic. I admired her ambition, proud to support her climb. Then Wade approached, his tailored suit screaming privilege. "Rick, right? Wade Morrison. I work with Scarlett." His handshake was too firm, a power play. "Glad to meet you," I said, matching his grip. His smirk tightened my gut. "You're the husband everyone's buzzing about," he said, eyes scanning the room before locking on mine. "This world? It's not your game. Scarlett's on a different level now." His words weren't casual, they were a challenge. I kept my voice steady. "Is that so?" Wade leaned closer, his cologne sharp. "She's outgrowing you, Rick. Some people are meant for bigger stages." My jaw clenched, but I held my cool. "You don't know me, Wade." He chuckled, low and mocking. "Oh, I know enough." Scarlett appeared, her smile too bright, almost forced. "Rick, you met Wade. He's leading our new campaign." Her hand grazed Wade's arm, lingering a second too long. My stomach twisted. Wade's eyes never left mine. "We were just talking about your husband's consulting thing," he said, his tone dripping with dismissal. I hadn't mentioned my business. Scarlett's laugh was sharp, nervous. "Wade's presentation is about to start. Let's go." She pulled him toward the stage, not glancing back at me. The room spun as I processed it. Wade's taunt, Scarlett's distance, the lie about my business. They'd been talking about me. Behind my back. The party's noise faded, replaced by a cold realization. My 10-year marriage was cracking, and I hadn't seen the fault lines. I left the hotel early, the Seattle skyline blurring as I drove home. Aiden was with his grandparents, giving me the house to myself. Sleep wouldn't come. Scarlett's humming from a shower filled the silence, a tune I didn't know. She climbed into bed, turning away without a word, asleep in minutes. At 2:47 a.m., I gave up on rest and crept downstairs. My laptop sat on the kitchen counter, but something else caught my eye, Scarlett's purse by the door. Inside was her work phone, one she guarded fiercely. My pulse raced as I grabbed it. The lock screen showed 2 unread texts from WM. "Wade Morrison." I tried her anniversary. Wrong. Aiden's birthday. Wrong. Then I remembered her college sorority pin from UCLA. 4 digits. The phone unlocked. The text hit like a punch. "WM, tonight was perfect. His face when I hinted at your eyes. Priceless." Scarlett's reply. "Cruel, Wade. But you're right. He's holding me back." My hand shook as I scrolled. Weeks of messages. Plans for a Miami conference. Jokes about my dull life. A photo of a hotel room, time-stamped last month. Then a voice message from Scarlett, dated 2 days ago. I pressed play, volume low. Her voice was light, alive in a way I hadn't heard in years. "Rick was so lost helping Aiden with math last night. I don't know why I settled for this." Settled. The word burned. I took screenshots, my mind racing. I'd built a $1.2 million business by outsmarting competitors, predicting trends, staying 3 steps ahead. Yet I'd missed this betrayal unfolding in my own home. Wade thought I was a pushover. Scarlett thought I'd stay oblivious, funding her life while she planned her exit. They were wrong. I slipped the phone back in her purse, exactly as I found it. By dawn, I'd made a decision. Wade Morrison had started a war, and I was done playing nice. The next morning, I called in sick, first time in a decade, and tailed Scarlett. She kissed me goodbye, her lips cold, routine. I waited 10 minutes, then followed her sedan to her office's parking garage. At 11:15, Wade's black Audi pulled up. Scarlett emerged from the lobby, not the employee entrance, like she'd been waiting. She slid into his car. They drove to Pike Place Market, a spot Scarlett and I used to visit early in our marriage. From a distance, I watched them sit on a bench, her head on his shoulder, his hand in her hair. The intimacy wasn't new. I snapped photos, my hand steady despite the ache in my chest. I drove to Jake Turner's office, a private investigator who owed me for saving his client's startup last year. I need a GPS tracker and everything you could dig up on Wade Morrison, I said, sliding Scarlett's phone screenshots across his desk. Jake's eyes narrowed as he scanned them. This guy's bad news, Rick. I've heard his name before. Give me 24 hours. By afternoon, he delivered a report that chilled me. Wade had a history, 2 companies, 2 married women, 2 ruined husbands. Financial devastation, custody battles, broken lives. He's a predator, Jake said. Targets ambitious women, isolates them, then bleeds their families dry. I left with a tracker the size of a dime and a plan. That night, while Scarlett showered, I attached the device to her car's undercarriage. My phone buzzed with her text. Working late. Don't wait up. The tracker app showed her car at the Marriott downtown. I grabbed my camera and drove. Wade's Audi was in the parking garage. I staked out the lobby bar, blending in with the crowd. 2 hours later, they stepped off the elevator, Scarlett in a dress I'd bought her for our 9th anniversary. Wade's hand rested on her back, possessive. I captured every moment. Their laughter, their ease, his valet ticket exchange like it was routine. Driving home, I felt no anger, only clarity. Wade thought he could dismantle my life. Scarlett thought she could slip away. They'd underestimated Rick Miller, a man who'd turned failing startups into empires. I called my lawyer, Patricia Cole, a shark who'd structured my business trust last year. I need a divorce strategy, I said. Contested. Ugly. Scarlett's having an affair with a serial predator. Patricia's voice was steel. Meet me tomorrow, 8 a.m. Document everything. Don't confront her. I hung up, already building a timeline of Scarlett's late nights, odd expenses, and distant moods. Wade Morrison had no idea who he'd challenged. The quiet consultant was about to strike back. The GPS tracker on Scarlett's car blinked red on my phone screen, pinning her location at a downtown Seattle cafe at 9:12 a.m. I'd spent the night mapping her movements, cross-referencing them with Wade Morrison's schedule from Jake's report. My lawyer, Patricia Cole, had insisted I meet her early to strategize, but first I needed more evidence. I parked across the street from the cafe, camera ready. Scarlett and Wade sat by the window, heads close, her hand brushing his. I snapped photos, each click hardening my resolve. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a calculated plan to erase me. Patricia's office was a fortress of glass and steel, her desk stacked with legal pads and my screenshots. Rick, this is bigger than adultery, she said, flipping through Jake's dossier on Wade. He's used Baxter and Reed's resources to profile his target's finances, your business included. She outlined a plan. Transfer my company's assets into an irrevocable trust for Aiden, untouchable by Scarlett. Your business predates the marriage, she said. This trust is standard estate planning, but it'll shield you from Wade's playbook. I signed the papers, locking away $1. $2 million in assets. Scarlett would get nothing. Back home, I dug deeper. Using my consulting skills, I hacked into public records, tracing Wade's past. 2 prior victims, Evan Walsh in Portland and Maria Chun in San Francisco, had lost everything. Businesses, homes, kids. Wade had convinced their spouses to demand crippling divorce settlements, then profited through shell companies tied to the wreckage. I emailed Evan and Maria, offering to connect them with Patricia. Both responded within hours, eager to expose Wade's pattern. Evan's reply was blunt. He ruined me. Let's bury him. Scarlett returned home at 6:45 p.m., claiming a client dinner. The tracker showed she'd been at Wade's apartment. I played along, cooking for Aiden while she showered. Dad, why's Mom always gone? Aiden asked, pushing peas around his plate. I forced a smile. Work's busy, buddy. She'll be around more soon. The lie stung, but protecting Aiden was my priority. After he went to bed, I called Jake. I need surveillance gear, audio, video, the works. By morning, he delivered a pen recorder and a tiny camera, both legal for private use in Washington. The next day, I planted the camera in Scarlett's office bag, hidden in a seam. It streamed to my laptop, capturing her meeting with Wade in a Baxter and Reed conference room. Miami's our chance, Wade said, his voice clear through the feed. Once you're promoted, we push Rick for a quick divorce. He won't see it coming. Scarlett hesitated. It's not that simple. Aiden. Wade cut her off. Aiden's fine with Rick. You deserve a bigger life. My blood boiled, but I kept recording. This was the ammunition I needed. At Aiden's school play that evening, tension snapped. Scarlett and I sat in the auditorium, her phone buzzing constantly. I glimpsed Wade's name before she silenced it. During intermission, a parent, Lisa Grant, approached. Scarlett, I saw you at Romano's with that guy, she said, loud enough for nearby parents to turn. Everyone's talking. Scarlett froze, her eyes darting to me. It's not what you think, she stammered. Lisa frowned. I saw the photos, Scarlett. Rick deserves to know. The air thickened with whispers. I stood calm but cold. Thanks, Lisa. I'll handle it. Scarlett fled to the car, her face pale. This is humiliating, she hissed as I climbed in. You're blowing this out of proportion. I didn't respond, my mind on the camera footage downloading at home. That night, I reviewed it. Wade plotting to leverage Scarlett's promotion, mentioning offshore accounts to hide assets. I forwarded it to Patricia, who called immediately. This is corporate fraud, she said. We're filing against Wade and Baxter and Reed tomorrow. They enabled him. She also connected with Evan and Maria's lawyers, building a multi-victim case. The next morning, I followed Scarlett again. Her car stopped at Wade's office building, but she didn't go inside. Instead, she sat in her car, crying, typing furiously on her phone. A text from Wade popped up on my synced app. Stop panicking. Rick's clueless. Stick to the plan. I gritted my teeth. Clueless? I'd already moved $800,000 into Aiden's trust and opened a new bank account, leaving just enough in our joint one to avoid suspicion. Patricia's advice was clear. Stay quiet. Keep gathering evidence. By noon, Jake called with a bombshell. Wade's been meeting with a lawyer known for shady divorce settlements. They're drafting papers to claim half your business. I leaned back, adrenaline surging. Wade wasn't just after Scarlett. He wanted my life's work. I texted Patricia the update, and she replied instantly, We're ready. Meet me at 3 p.m. with every piece of evidence. I spent the afternoon compiling everything. GPS logs, photos, audio, video, victim statements. The dossier was airtight. As I drove to Patricia's, Aiden's school called. He'd gotten into a fight, upset about Mom's new friend. My heart sank. I picked him up, his eyes red. Is Mom leaving us? He asked. I hugged him tight. No way, buddy. I'm here always. That moment sharpened my focus. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about shielding Aiden from the fallout. Wade thought he could outmaneuver me, but he'd picked the wrong target. I wasn't just a husband. I was a strategist, and my counterattack was only beginning. The conference room at Patricia Cole's law firm buzzed with tension as I laid out my evidence. GPS logs, photos, audio clips, and video from Scarlett's office bag. Across the table sat Evan Walsh and Maria Chun, Wade Morrison's previous victims, their faces etched with determination. Patricia's voice was sharp. We're filing a civil suit against Wade and Baxter and Reed for conspiracy to commit fraud. Rick, your footage ties Wade to illegal financial profiling. I nodded, my focus laser tight. This was the moment to dismantle Wade's game. Evan spoke first, his voice steady. Wade convinced my ex to demand assets that tanked my restaurant chain. He bought the remains through a shell company. Maria added, he isolated me from my family, then pushed my husband into bankruptcy. Same pattern. Their stories mirrored mine. Wade targeted ambitious women, manipulated them, and profited from the fallout. Patricia slid a draft complaint across the table. We're alleging corporate malfeasance and racketeering. Baxter and Reed's negligence let Wade access client data. I signed on, my hand steady despite the stakes. That afternoon, I tracked Scarlett's car to a waterfront hotel. The GPS pinged at 2:37 p.m. and I parked nearby, camera in hand. Wade's Audi pulled up minutes later. They met in the lobby, Scarlett's posture tense, Wade's hand guiding her toward the elevator. I captured it all, then sent the footage to Patricia. Her reply was immediate. This strengthens our case. Keep monitoring. Back home, I checked the camera feed from Scarlett's bag. She and Wade discussed the Miami conference, his tone smug. Once you're VP, we'll finalize the divorce. Rick won't fight. Scarlett's silence chilled me. Aiden's school called again. He'd drawn a picture of our family, but Scarlett was missing. I picked him up, his small hand gripping mine. Dad, are you mad at Mom? He asked. I knelt down. I'm just trying to keep us safe, buddy. His nod was solemn, too mature for 6. I vowed to shield him, no matter the cost. That night, Scarlett texted, "Late meeting. Don't wait." The tracker showed her at Wade's apartment. I added the data to my growing file, each entry a brick in the wall I was building. The next morning, Patricia called. The complaint's filed. Baxter and Reed's legal team is scrambling. Wade suspended, effective immediately. My pulse quickened. The firm had cut off his access to their systems, but he wasn't done. Jake's latest report revealed Wade had hired a private investigator to dig into my finances. I countered by meeting my bank manager, transferring the last of my liquid assets into Aiden's trust. Scarlett couldn't touch it, and Wade's plans were unraveling. He's desperate, Jake warned. Watch your back. At Aiden's soccer game, the public humiliation peaked. Parents whispered as Scarlett arrived late, her phone glued to her hand. Lisa Grant, the parent who'd exposed the affair, approached me. "Rick," more photos surfaced online. From Romanos. She showed me a social media post, Scarlett and Wade, cozy at dinner, shared by a local gossip group. Scarlett saw it too, her face crumpling. She pulled me aside. "This isn't what it looks like. I can explain." I stared her down, explained to Aiden why his classmates' parents pity him. She flinched but said nothing. That evening, Scarlett's parents, Margaret and Frank, called me to their Lakewood home. Margaret's voice trembled. We confronted Scarlett. She admitted the affair, but claims you're controlling. Frank handed me a letter they'd written, disowning Scarlett if she pursued Wade. "Your family, Rick. Aiden's our priority." I clutched the letter, stunned by their loyalty. They also revealed they'd redirected their contributions to Aiden's college fund into my trust. "She's planning to move to California," Margaret said. "We won't support that." I installed audio bugs in Scarlett's car before she left for work. The feed captured her call with Wade. "The firm's investigating you," she said, panicked. "What did you do?" Wade's voice was cold. "Stick with me, Scarlett. Rick's nothing without you." Her hesitation gave me hope, not for us, but for her to see the truth. I sent the recording to Patricia, who added it to the case file. "This proves intent," she said. "Wade's done." The next day, I met Evan and Maria at a diner to finalize strategy. Evan shared bank records showing Wade's shell company profits. Maria had court documents from her divorce, linking Wade to her ex's financial ruin. "He's a parasite," she said. I agreed, my resolve ironclad. Patricia joined us, outlining the timeline. Baxter and Reed gets the complaint today. Wade's out of moves. By noon, the firm CEO emailed Scarlett, copied to Wade, confirming his termination. My phone buzzed with a text from Scarlett. "We need to talk." Now, I met her at a park, Aiden at school. She was shaken, tears streaking her face. "Wade's gone. The firm's a mess. Why didn't you tell me about your lawsuit?" I stayed calm. "You chose him, Scarlett. Not me." She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "I didn't know who he was," she said. "It's too late," I replied, walking away. The lawsuit was only the beginning. Wade had targeted my family, but I was turning his own tactics against him. Aiden's future, my business, my dignity. I'd protect them all, and Wade would learn what it meant to underestimate me. Wade Morrison's termination from Baxter and Reed sent shockwaves through Seattle's corporate circles, but I wasn't done. My lawyer, Patricia Cole, had filed a civil suit against him and the firm, alleging fraud and racketeering. I sat in her office, reviewing the latest. Wade's financial accounts were frozen pending investigation. "He's cornered," Patricia said, handing me a report. "But he's slippery. Expect retaliation." I nodded, my focus on protecting Aiden and my business. Wade had underestimated me, and now he'd pay. That morning, I checked the audio feed from Scarlett's car. She was on a call with her sister, Claire, her voice cracking. "Mom and Dad cut me off. They're on Rick's side." Claire's response was blunt. "You're throwing away your family for a con man, Scarlett. Wake up." Scarlett hung up, silent. I saved the recording, evidence of her unraveling loyalty to Wade. Later, Jake, my investigator, texted, "Wade's PI is tailing you. Be careful." I scanned my rearview mirror driving to Aiden's school, spotting a gray sedan lingering too long. Wade was desperate. At Aiden's parent-teacher conference, the air was thick with tension. Scarlett sat beside me, avoiding eye contact, her phone off for once. The teacher, Mrs. Larson, praised Aiden's progress, but noted his recent anxiety. "He mentioned you two arguing," she said cautiously. Scarlett shifted uncomfortably. I spoke up. We're working through things, but Aiden's our priority. Outside, Scarlett grabbed my arm. I didn't mean for this to hurt him, she said, eyes pleading. Then end it, I replied coldly. Choose your son over Wade. She looked away, torn. Back home, I reviewed new evidence from Evan Walsh and Maria Chun, Wade's prior victims. Evan sent wire transfers proving Wade funneled money from his ex-wife's settlement into offshore accounts. Maria provided emails where Wade coached her ex-husband's divorce lawyer to demand ruinous terms. I forwarded everything to Patricia, who called immediately. This is enough for criminal charges, she said. We're coordinating with the DA. Wade's looking at jail time. I leaned back, a grim satisfaction settling in. The net was tightening. The next day, I followed Scarlett's GPS to a law office downtown. She met with a divorce attorney, her posture defeated. I parked discreetly, the pen recorder catching her words. Wade promised we'd start fresh in Miami, she told the lawyer. But now he's broke, and my firm's under fire. The lawyer's advice was stark. Cut ties with Morrison. Your husband's trust protects his assets. You'll get nothing if you fight him. Scarlett's silence spoke volumes. I sent the audio to Patricia, who added it to our arsenal. Aiden's soccer practice brought another blow. A parent, Tom Reed, approached me, phone in hand. Rick, this is rough, but you should see it. He showed a local news blog post. Baxter and Reed exec fired amid scandal. It detailed Wade's predatory history, naming Scarlett as his latest target. Comments from neighbors and school parents flooded in, some sympathetic, others vicious. Everyone knows, Tom said quietly. I clenched my fists. The public shame wasn't just mine, it was Aiden's now. I thanked Tom and drove home, fury simmering. That night, Scarlett confronted me in the kitchen, her voice low to avoid waking Aiden. You're destroying me, Rick. My career, my family gone. I held her gaze. You did this, Scarlett. You and Wade. She sank into a chair, tears falling. He said you'd never fight back, that you were weak. I stepped closer. He was wrong, and so were you. I showed her Evan and Maria's statements, detailing Wade's trail of broken families. Her face paled as she read. I didn't know, she whispered. You didn't want to? I shot back. Patricia called with an update. The DA had charged Wade with fraud and conspiracy, citing our evidence. Baxter and Reed settled out of court, paying damages to Evan, Maria, and me to avoid a public trial. Wade's arraignment is tomorrow, Patricia said. He's pleading guilty to avoid a longer sentence. I hung up, feeling a strange mix of triumph and exhaustion. Scarlett packed a bag that night, saying she needed space. I didn't stop her. Aiden deserved better than a mother torn between regret and ambition. The next morning, I took Aiden to breakfast at his favorite diner. He poked at his pancakes, quiet. Is Mom coming back? He asked. I took his hand. She loves you, buddy, but she's figuring things out. I'm here, always. He nodded, trusting me completely. I vowed to rebuild his world, piece by piece. Later, I met Patricia at the courthouse. Wade entered, handcuffed, his confidence gone. Evan and Maria stood beside me, united. This is for all of us, Maria whispered as Wade glanced our way, defeated. Scarlett texted me that afternoon. I'm sorry. I'm in it with Wade. I didn't respond. Her apology couldn't undo the damage, but it signaled her surrender. Wade's plea deal meant 18 months in prison and restitution to his victims. My business thrived, new clients drawn to my story of resilience. Aiden smiled more, unaware of the full storm but sensing safety with me. Wade had tried to break us, but I'd outmaneuvered him. The war wasn't over, but I was winning for Aiden, for myself. Wade Morrison's guilty plea marked the end of his reign, but my fight was far from over. With Scarlett gone, I focused on rebuilding a stable life for Aiden. The Seattle sun broke through the clouds as I drove him to school, his backpack bouncing with each step. Dad, are we okay now? He asked, his voice small but hopeful. I squeezed his shoulder. Better than okay, buddy. We're unstoppable. Inside, I braced for the final pieces of my plan, ensuring justice stuck and Aiden's future stayed secure. Patricia Cole called as I left the school. Wade's serving 18 months, and his assets are seized for restitution, she said. Evan and Maria get first claim, but you're next. I thank her, my mind on the civil suit still pending. Wade's victims, including me, had formed a coalition, pooling evidence to block his future schemes. I emailed a tech contact, asking for a deep dive into Wade's online accounts. By noon, I had proof he'd tried opening a new offshore account from jail. I forwarded it to the DA, tightening the screws. Scarlett reached out, requesting a meeting at a neutral cafe near Pike Place. I agreed, arriving early to scope the place. She walked in, her posture slumped, no trace of the confident marketer I'd once known. "I'm moving to Phoenix," she said, stirring her coffee. "New job, fresh start. I want joint custody of Aiden." I leaned forward, voice firm. "You can see him, but only if you cut all ties with Wade's world." She nodded, signing the divorce papers Patricia had prepared. The settlement gave her a small payout, leaving my business and Aiden's trust untouched. Back home, I checked the trust status. Aiden's college fund, bolstered by Margaret and Frank's contributions, now sat at $75,000, safe from Scarlett's reach. I called them, grateful for their unwavering support. "You're our son, Rick," Frank said. "Aiden's our legacy." Their words fueled me. I spent the evening helping Aiden with a science project, his laughter easing the weight of months of betrayal. "You're the best dad," he said, gluing a model rocket. I hugged him, vowing to keep that trust. The next week, a local business journal ran a feature on my consulting firm, spotlighting my resilience against corporate predators. New clients flooded in, doubling my revenue. At a networking event, I met Rebecca Larson, a single mom and teacher whose ex had left her for a colleague. We bonded over shared scars, her wit and warmth a quiet comfort. "You fought for your kid," she said, sipping wine. "That's rare." I smiled, feeling a spark I hadn't expected. We exchanged numbers, planning coffee. Wade's arraignment follow-up came a month later. I attended, standing with Evan and Maria as the judge detailed his sentence. Restitution payments for a decade, his professional licenses revoked. He glanced at me, eyes hollow, but I felt no pity, only closure. Outside, Maria hugged me. "We stop him, Rick." Together. I nodded, grateful for allies who'd turned pain into power. The coalition planned to launch a nonprofit, helping others spot predators like Wade early. Scarlett's visits with Aiden began, supervised at first. She was polite, focused on him, but the distance between us was permanent. Aiden sensed it, clinging to me after her weekends. "I like it better with you, Dad," he said one night, curled up with a book. I ruffled his hair, hiding the ache. Rebecca joined us for a park outing, her daughter, Emma, racing Aiden to the swings. Their laughter blended, a glimpse of a new family forming. 6 months later, I proposed to Rebecca at a quiet beach near Seattle. She said yes, her eyes bright with trust. We married in Margaret and Frank's backyard, Aiden and Emma tossing petals. My business soared, now valued at $2 million, and I hired Evan to consult, giving him a fresh start. Maria opened a small cafe, her dream reborn. Wade, out on parole, faced a lifetime of debt and obscurity. I checked his status one last time. Jobless, living in a cheap apartment, his empire dust. At Thanksgiving, Aiden and Emma helped set the table, giggling over mashed potato mountains. Rebecca squeezed my hand. "You built this, Rick." I looked at my son, my new wife, my chosen family, and felt peace. Wade had tried to break me, but he'd only revealed my strength. I taught Aiden to ride a bike that spring, his cheers echoing as he wobbled forward. "You didn't let me fall, Dad," he shouted. I grinned. "Never will, buddy." Justice wasn't just Wade's downfall. It was the life I'd reclaimed, one petal at a time.